Hello everybody and welcome back to Cooking with Cork. Today we are going to cook chicken breast in a delicious cream sauce. It's going to be creamy, it's going to be cheesy, it's going to have sun-dried tomatoes, some garlic in it. It is going to be good, or at least I think it's going to be good. What's up, Stu? Hey buddy. At least I think it's going to be good. So we're going to be doing things a little differently today. So this is not necessarily a dish I cooked or have ever cooked, but this is an entirely new shtick. This is me taking a recipe that I found online and I thought looked absolutely killer. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna cook it this is gonna be the first time that I've ever cooked this recipe, and I'm gonna do it with y'all. So I wanna show y'all that even if you're uncomfortable with some things, just jump in, find new recipes, adventure with it a little bit. Take some risks. Cook something you've never cooked before and see how it comes out. As always, please hit that subscribe button, smash that like. Let's get to cooking, baby. All right, guys, let's get to cooking. So, as we always do on each of these videos, I'm gonna help prepare everything beforehand, get them all into the little servings that we're gonna use to cook it up with. So let's get this started. First one we are cooking a chicken dish. We've got 3 chicken breasts here, and what we're gonna do to prep it is salt and pepper both sides of these bad boys, and be liberal with the salt and pepper. All right, give this a little pat in real quick. Flip them over and do the same thing. Make sure you don't put your nasty chicken hands in the salt. And we pepper this side. All right, we're done with our chicken. All right, the next thing we're gonna prepare is our cloves of garlic. This recipe calls for 3. What we're gonna do with our garlic, like always, is smash them. We'll smash them real quick. And then we'll just dice them up. We want our garlic minced for this recipe, just like that. Once we have it minced, we'll throw it in our ramekin, save it for later. This recipe calls for 1 tablespoon of olive oil, 1-ish, 1.5-ish. Next up, we are going to get a couple of our spices down. So the second part of the recipe calls for red pepper flakes and the thyme to be thrown in at the same time. Yeah. So we are going to pre-measure those out and put those in the same ramekin. So this recipe calls for 1 teaspoon of red pepper flakes, and 1 teaspoon of thyme. We'll put those together and we'll be all set. The next thing you're gonna wanna do is pre-measure out your chicken broth, which we want 3/4 cups of chicken broth for this recipe. And you're also gonna measure out a 1/2 cup of heavy cream. Next up, we're gonna prepare a 1/2 cup of sun-dried tomatoes. These are the ones stored in extra virgin olive oil. Now you can get a can instead of this bottle, but just get some sun-dried tomatoes, and we're gonna go for a 1/2 cup. We're gonna make sure that we dice up these sun-dried tomatoes as well. We don't want them to be whole. So cut a few lines, turn them, and cube them. Cube them, dice them. Once we have all those cut up, throw them in a ramekin, save them for later. And there we go. You gotta always clean up your workstation in between everything. Keep everything nice. All right, and the last thing that you are gonna need is a half of a cup of grated Parmesan Romano cheese. So, if y'all have watched any of my videos, I always change out Parmesan for Romano, for pecorino. It's my choice. I think it's a better cheese. Some recipes, really it doesn't go well with. Every recipe it goes well with. But some call for Parmesan. I think everything tastes better with good pecorino. So get a half a cup of this. All right, now that everything is prepped, we are gonna get to the cooking phase. The first thing you want to do is preheat your oven to 375 degrees. So the first thing that I want to note is when you're cooking this, you're going to want an oven safe pan. So now that our oven is preheated, once we cook the chicken a little right here, we are going to throw it right into the oven. So let's just make sure everything is oven safe. I prefer using cast iron. If anything's going from stove to the oven, cast iron is the way to go. But if you don't have that, as long as you don't have wooden handles or plastic handles on your pan, your cooking pans, you should be good to go. Set your stove to medium-high heat, and we're going to heat up that olive oil. Throw in our tablespoon-ish of olive oil. And let that heat up. That'll take a minute or two. So our oil has been heating for a couple of minutes now. I'm gonna give it the check to see. And the best way to tell if the oil is ready or not is to take just a little water and flick it into the pan. If that water immediately bubbles up and hisses at you, then it's ready to go. This did not, so it needs a couple more minutes. And we're gonna wait a couple more minutes. So yeah, it's the first time cooking this recipe. Pretty pumped about it. Are you? Cool? Cool. All right, it's just starting to pop at me. Once your oil is ready, we are gonna throw in our chicken breasts. We wanna cook them. We're gonna sear them until they are golden brown on each side, which should take about 4 to 5 minutes a side. So once we throw them on here, in 5 minutes, we'll flip them. Now, if they need another minute to get a little more golden on one side, don't be afraid to change. It'll be different based on your pan, based on your stove, everything. So right there, I just checked at 5 minutes. I think I can get them a little more golden, so I'm gonna wait 1 more minute before I actually flip them over. All right, we're at another minute. I'm gonna flip them over now. Oh yeah, that's the color we want. It's a nice sear. Oh. Can y'all see the sear I got on those? It is nice golden right there on top. Now we're gonna let this cook for another 4 to 5 minutes on this side. Get a nice golden sear, and we'll put it to the side. If you haven't yet, make sure you preheat your oven at this point in time, 375 degrees. Once we make the sauce, it's gonna go in the oven, so just get it ready. Now another thing you should watch when you're doing this, the second side will always be quicker than the first side. Your pan is heated up, it's had time to, so don't just blanketly trust me and go with the 4 to 5 minutes. Every 2 minutes, go ahead and actually check it out. See where you're at. See, look at that. We're already getting nice and golden. And we are only at 3 minutes. Okay. Yep, you see? That is nice and golden. We're gonna give it another minute. All right, now we're about 4 minutes on the second side. The next thing we're gonna do is just take it off and put it on the plate for right now. All right, I'm gonna put this on the side for later. First things first, put our heat onto medium heat. All right, let's begin making our sauce. First thing first, garlic. Throw garlic in the oil, and we're gonna cook that for about a minute. If they're starting to really change color, move on to the next. All right, my garlic is just starting to turn a little brown. This is perfect time. All right, now we'll throw in our chicken broth. Whew. And when you throw in that chicken broth, go ahead and try to get all the little bits that you can at the bottom of the pan. You'll have a lot stuck in from that chicken that you really want in your sauce. Then we'll add our half cup of heavy cream, and we'll stir that in as well. Oh, look at that color. Y'all see that? And it's at this point we are also gonna add in our thyme and our red pepper flakes. And mix those in as well. Once everything is nicely stirred together, we are gonna cook this for 5 minutes. And make sure you stir this frequently. You don't want this to sit and get stuck to the bottom of the pan. It'll totally ruin the sauce. When you make the sauce, this is the time when you focus on the food. Everything else, like cooking that chicken, I could have put it in and could have done a thing or two else. But when you're making the sauce, it's best to stay alert. It's also here that I'll add a little bit of salt and pepper just along the way. Whew. All right, after 5 minutes of cooking this sauce and stirring frequently, we throw in our sun-dried tomatoes and our romano or parmesan cheese. We'll mix these in to just get everything together. Make sure all that cheese is melted into the sauce, incorporated. Everything is all nice, and you can instantly see when you add the cheese that the sauce just gets a little thicker. Once everything is mixed together, the cheese is melted, we will throw in our chicken breasts. And you want to do your best to scoop up some of those sun-dried tomatoes in the sauce and drench the tops of all your chicken breasts with it. And once all that sauce is on top of that chicken, we're gonna throw it in the oven for 15 to 18 minutes until our chicken's internal temperature is 165. I'm gonna go throw it in the oven now. Now that they're out, we'll check their temperature in the fattest part of each breast and make sure it's 165. We got 165, 165, and 165. These are done. All right, look how beautiful that just came out. So for me, that took 20 minutes, 21 minutes of actual baking time. And it will fluctuate depending on how thick your breasts are, how much of the sear you got. Everything will fluctuate, so you just have to take your time, check it at different intervals. I checked it at 15, put it in for another 3, checked it at 18, and then I checked it again after another 3, and now we are perfect. The best thing that you can use, and I suggest everyone to buy, is a meat thermometer. It has changed the way that I have cooked, and it has helped me out because I'm not guessing anymore. I'm not praying that I didn't undercook the chicken, because there's been times where I have, and it's been like, all right, back to the grill, back to wherever, and it kills it. But having that meat thermometer, just put it in. Once it reads 165, we're good to go. I really hope that's the number. That's the number I've been using forever. It is the number. Yeah, it's the number. You can find a link to a meat thermometer in the description below. I'll even put the one that I use. It was cheap, it works perfectly, and gives you a read in 5 seconds at most. Now that we're here, let's taste this bad boy. You know what? We're going spoon. I'm micing again. This is gonna be so hot. This is gonna be nuclear. The thyme, sun-dried tomatoes, everything comes together. That is awesome. Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna, one more bite real quick. I love cream sauces. If they were just healthy for you, they'd beat burgers for me. Well, that's it. This chicken came out awesome. Thank y'all so much for joining me on this journey. My first time cooking this recipe, and it came out. Like, sometimes it works. And the best thing is just to get out there, try new recipes, and cook. I love experimenting with different foods, different recipes, different techniques, everything. I just love it. And if I mess up, hey, you learn along the way. But the best thing that could happen is that it comes out perfectly and it tastes like this chicken. So guys, thank y'all once again. Please make sure to subscribe, smash that like button, smiggity smash. Leave a comment below. What did you think of this recipe? How did you like the style? Did you enjoy this first time cooking format? And have a great day. Go out, find a new recipe today, and cook it. Go to the grocery store, get the food you need, cook it. Thank y'all for cooking with Cork. Man.